Welcome to the Communication Skills Masterclass. The focus of this program is to help you understand the basic principles that you can implement daily that will help transform your communication skills. Communication is one of the most important skills. We communicate every day. In business, we communicate with our colleagues, our clients, suppliers, even superior officers. And at home, we communicate with our spouse, our kids, our neighbors, and family members. So this makes communication skills an essential skill we can't do without. So learning how to improve on your communication skill is one of the greatest assets you can invest your money in. This course demonstrates basic applicable principles that you can implement to help you get better results. Before we move into other modules, you need to understand that we human beings all have different personalities. So our attitude is different and our behavior is also different, meaning that we are more comfortable communicating in different styles. And that is why we have different communication styles. But my focus in this program is to help you understand your own communication style, to discover your own communication style and continue to build on it. This is because the principles that works for an introvert might not really work for an extrovert. So each individual has different personality. And this program acknowledges that and presents its module in a way that regardless of your personality, you definitely find a part of this program that will align with your personality and will work for you. So join me as we move on into the modules. Clarity and conciseness. Clarity is about being easily understood, while conciseness is about using as few words as possible without sacrificing meaning. When communicating, one of your goals during communication activity is to help your audience understand your points. You don't need to complicate things and you don't need to use confusing words that might deprive your audience the benefit of understanding the meaning of your message. The reason why we engage in conversation is to help our audience understand the point we are driving at. That is your major goal. So communicate with the intention of helping your audience understand, not really to communicate to oppress your audience. Your key goal is understanding. Whenever you're able to communicate in a way that your audience understand your points, then you've achieved your goal for that communication. But if your audience does not understand your point, then you need to say whatever it is you've said in a different way that your audience will definitely understand. Talking about clarity, it's good when you practice using different method to say the same thing and still giving it the same meaning. You can pick any topic, relax, digest this topic and try to say the same thing, but this time around you say it differently. The reason is because we individual, we are different and we understand things differently. Some have the ability to understand immediately, while for others you might need to explain further for them to understand. So when you're able to talk about the same topic differently, you will be able to help your audience, regardless of their personality, understand your point. When you're communicating, pay attention to the non-verbal clue of your audience. You will know if they understand or they did not understand. Even when they did not say a word, their facial expression will give you an idea of what is running in their mind. If you think they don't really understand, then you keep explaining to them, saying the same thing but in different ways. You can use stories, you can use examples. Remember, your goal is to speak in a clearer way that will make your audience understand your points. Emotional intelligence. This is your ability to perceive, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as to recognize and influence the emotion of others. Emotional intelligence is your ability to manage your emotion, regardless of what the situation might be. At times, people do things that it's most likely to piss you off. You see, what other people do to you, you might not really have control over that, but you have 100% control on how you respond to the situation. And people won't really judge you based on what other people are doing to you, but they will judge you based on how you respond to that situation. There are situations where someone might come to you just to frustrate you, push you to the wall. You see, people might not really notice that person when he was doing those acts. If you are not careful enough to be patient before reacting, if you overreact, meaning you were not able to control your emotion during that situation, you might end up doing something that when people come around, then they start putting the blame on you, forgetting or not even knowing that initially you were not at fault. It was the other person who came and pushed you to the wall. But because you didn't manage your emotion effectively and probably take things beyond what you should have done, and when people come, they start blaming you for something that wasn't your fault initially. So that is why it's important to pay attention to your own emotion when dealing with people. Don't react to negative situations and don't be quick to react. Take your time, relax. When things happen at times, when we take our time, take a little break, probably have a deep breath before responding. You see, these few seconds, you gain strength and you gain better understanding on how to respond to the situation. So, emotional intelligence is mainly about managing your emotion to help you remain in a positive state of mind so that you can attend to situations accordingly, respond accordingly, and also protect yourself in the process. Active listening. This is the act of paying attention to your communicator to help you understand the point is trying to make. And the reason is because when you understand a point, it becomes easier for you to digest that information and also interpret that information in your own way. This makes active listening a very essential part of communication. When you begin to listen to your audience, you begin to have an idea of what's running in their mind. You're beginning to know who they are and what they are up to. So by the time you start to respond, you can give a response that they will be able to resonate with because you actually truly understand them. At times, people engage in a communication fully prepared. They have their points, they know what to say and how to say it. So just because of that, they pay less attention to listening to the other person. When this happens, they tend to give information that the other person might not really find helpful or impactful because they didn't listen to the other person to understand what he really wants or what he is up to. To practice active listening is just about you talking less and listening more. Whenever you engage in a communication, try to talk less and try to listen more. Listen to your audience. Give your audience the opportunity to talk, to express himself to the fullest, and don't interrupt in the process. There are situations whereby you might think your audience has landed and you try to interrupt only to realize that he only paused to proceed. Situations like this, it's good for you to hold on and possibly tell him, oh, proceed. Let him express himself to the fullest, then you can now respond. You see, this will help you prepare yourself and even have better information to share during your response because you actually listened to him and you understand what he is saying. During active listening process, make sure your goal is to listen to understand, not just to respond. When you listen to respond, you will get some of the information, but not as much as when you listen to understand. So be sure that your goal for listening is to understand and not just to respond. Some of the factors that can help you become an active listener is to avoid distraction whenever you're engaging in a communication. Try not to be distracted by anything and do not distract yourself. It's not a good practice to engage in a communication or a conversation and probably you're playing with your phone, playing with your finger, or looking elsewhere. Pay close attention to your audience. Pay attention to what he is saying, that is his verbal communication, and also pay attention to his non-verbal clue as well. At times, when we're trying to express ourselves, our non-verbal clue gives better illustration of what we are actually saying. People engage in communication and try to lie, deceive. You might not really know if the person is lying, except he's talking about a topic you have better facts on. If it is a topic you don't know of, then you won't know if he is lying. But if you're paying attention to the person's non-verbal clue, his overall body expression will give you an idea of what he really meant. So paying close attention to your audience non-verbal expression gives you an edge over what is running in their mind. So eliminate distraction and pay close attention to your audience, verbal and non-verbal communication as well. And also be patient. Yes, be patient while you're engaging in active listening. That is one of the principles of active listening. You need to be patient so that you can listen and understand what your audience is saying. It's also a good practice to ask clarifying questions. At times, you're listening, the person made some point and you don't understand. It's a good thing for you to ask, oh, please, I do not understand this that you've said. Could you please expatiate? Could you please clarify? You could possibly take it a step further and say, please, I hope I am not bothering you. I'm only trying to understand, and I will be glad if you can help me understand. When you engage in practice like this, you're giving your audience an impression that you are in with good faith, that you're positive, and you really want that conversation to yield good results. That is why you're trying your best to understand the situation so that you can give a response that will help both of you get good value from that communication. So these are basic principles you need to pay attention to when you engage in a communication to help you become an active listener. Verbal communication is a process of sharing information, idea, and feelings through spoken words or written words. It's a fundamental way human interacts, enabling conversations, presentations, and various forms of social and professional exchanges. While verbal communication is primarily associated with spoken language, it also encompasses written messages which rely on words to convey meaning. To help you deliver better verbal communication, then you need to think before you speak. Practice active listening. Additionally, be mindful of your tone of voice. Non-verbal clues like body language and eye contact, and always consider your audience to tailor your message effectively. Some of the factors that can help you engage in a verbal communication includes you organizing your thoughts. Before you engage in a conversation, make sure you're talking about the topic you're confident of. This means that you've made your research and you're sure about the information you're giving. Be sure to give accurate information so that whenever you speak, people listen. It's not a good practice to give information that is not genuine. You can only do that for a little period of time. By the time people get to realize that the information you are likely to provide is not genuine, then chances are whenever you speak next time, they won't listen to you because nobody wants to be fed with an information that won't be of any help to them. That is just like a waste of time. So don't find yourself in that situation. Make sure all the information you're giving is genuine. And at times, if you don't know what to say, you might need to keep quiet and learn from other people. You don't need to know everything. You are not expected to know everything because you can't know everything. Whatever it is you feel you need and you don't know, start learning from people. Learn from people, learn from programs like this, audiobooks, podcasts. Just empower yourself with as many knowledge as possible, because the more knowledgeable you are about a particular topic, the more information you will be able to share whenever you're talking about that topic, meaning it will become difficult for you to forget your lines whenever you're talking about that particular topic because you have too many information to share. Even when you forget your lines, because it does happen, and we are all human, this is part of human nature. You can engage in a conversation and forget what you actually wanted to say. But because you have too much information at your disposal, you can pick from anywhere, blend together, and keep flowing. The most important thing is for your audience not to really know that you forgot your line. Even if they know, cover up and move on immediately. But when you have information, a lot of information, your audience will never know that you forgot your line. After all, they don't know what you were about to say next. So it was only you that you realize that, oh, you forgot what you wanted to say and you bring in something else. And the most important goal of verbal communication is to help your audience understand the points you're trying to make. Once you're able to express yourself in a way that your audience understand you, then you are successful communicating verbally. Non-verbal communication is a transmission of messages or signals through non-word means, such as body language, facial expression, gesture, eye contact, touch, and tone of voice. It can express emotions, support verbal communication, or even contradict it, and it is crucial for building trust, clarity, and understanding. So let's talk of some types of non-verbal communications. This include smile, frown, other expression, powerful ways to show emotions, joy, body language and posture. How you hold your body can convey confidence, anxiety, interest or disinterest. As much as people are listening to the words that are coming from your mouth, they are also paying attention to your overall body expression. And at times, they read more meaning to your body expression more than the words you're saying, because body expression hardly lies. We can lie through our words, but most times it's difficult to lie through your body expression. The next is facial expressions. This includes smiles, frowns, and other expression. These are powerful ways to show emotions like joy, anger, sadness, or even interest. So paying close attention to your facial expression when you express yourself help your audience understand your points better and have a positive feelings towards you once you're using the appropriate facial body expression to communicate, to express yourself. The next is gestures. This include hand movements like pointing, waving, or using the thumbs up sign, which can add emphasis or clarity to spoken words. Also, eye contact. The way you use your eye during communication, keeping an eye contact is a sign of strength. When you look at someone boldly, confidently into the eye, this means that you have nothing to hide. You're not hiding anything. That is why you're confident enough to look the person eyeball to eyeball. Research shows that whenever you're trying to hide something from someone, you lose the confidence to look the person straight in the eye. Even when you do, you won't be able to do that fully with confidence. And this will give the person a clue that something is most likely to be wrong, because chances are you are able to express yourself verbally effectively, but your body expression through your eye contact is saying something else that contradicts the words that are coming from your mouth. So as much as you're paying attention to your own body language, especially your eye contact, pay attention to your audience body language and eye contact as well. As much as he is trying to study you, read you, to really have a clear understanding of who you are and what you are up to, you're expected to do the same to your audience as well. Pay attention to him so that you can have an idea of what he truly is up to and who he is, apart from the words that are coming from his mouth. Touch is also another part of non-verbal communication. The way you touch person, the way you hold their hand signifies strengths or weaknesses. So when you're doing this, you do it confidently, especially when you have nothing to hide. Let me tell you something. Nervousness is part of human nature. So it's okay to be nervous, but do not let that weigh you down. Everybody gets nervous. I myself get nervous in some certain situations, but I try to get over it and move on. And how did I do that? The first thing that comes to my mind is that, after all, this person is a human being just like me. Besides, I've not done anything wrong. So he is not superior. No human being is superior than other. We are all unique in our own creative ways. If you feel this person has something you don't have, I bet you have so many things that person don't have. But unfortunately, some don't have the opportunity to discover themselves, to figure out their strengths, their ability, things that makes them stand out from others. And if you find yourself in this situation, then you might need to take a reflection on yourself to figure out your strengths, so that when you see other people's strengths, you don't look down on yourself. Now you're beginning to understand your strengths, your ability, so you will know that nobody is superior than others. Your appearance and physical environment plays a huge role in communication, either verbal communication or non-verbal communication. How this works is that, you see, one of the key principles that can help you communicate effectively is confidence. When you're confident in yourself, then automatically you will be able to express yourself. And your appearance plays a huge role when it comes to building confidence. I can tell you that there are times when you dress very, very well dressed. And I can also confirm that during this period, you know within yourself that your confidence level increased. Why? Because of the way you are dressed. So if you really want to build your confidence To the extent that you can express yourself freely, then pay attention to your appearance so that your confidence level can increase to the extent that it becomes easier for you to express yourself freely and confidently in every situation. Asking questions. It's always good to ask questions, especially when you don't understand something. The reason why you are asking those questions is to help you understand the point better so you can serve the person in a way that it will also appreciate. If you understand what someone is telling you or what someone wants you to do, chances are you will be able to do that thing very well. But if you don't understand what the person is saying, even responding, you're likely to be saying something that does not go in line with what the other person is saying. Try as much as possible to understand what someone is saying before responding. If you don't understand, ask the person questions. Tell him that you really want to understand, you don't understand. You can ask as many questions as possible. For as long as the questions you're asking is relevant and it is important to the discussion, the person will understand that, yeah, you actually want to have clarity about the topic. That is why you're asking question. And people don't get angry for you asking question, except if the questions you're asking, it has absolutely nothing to do with the discussion or the topic. If it is relevant, then the person will definitely want to help you understand. It will continue to explain, to tell you in a way that you'll be able to understand. So don't be intimidated to ask questions. Don't be scared. Be free to ask questions. And the reason why you are asking those questions is because you want to understand. You see, if you ask question like I myself, there are situations whereby I talk to someone and I don't understand what the person is saying. I don't really understand the point. But by the time I begin to ask questions and the person begin to explain further and better, then I start understanding exactly what the person is saying. If it has to do with business, for the fact that I understand, then I will be able to deliver a good job for the person. If I am also trying to talk to someone and I want the person to do something, or possibly the conversation goal could be any other thing, but because the person understand, it will be able to serve me very well. And also, when you engage in a conversation with someone, if you're reading the person overall body expression and you are having the feelings that the person does not understand, then tell the person, ask the person, do you understand? If he says yes, tell him or her to analyze what you've just said, then listen. If he truly understand, you will know. If he doesn't understand, you will know. So you see, you are also using questioning technique for you to get clarity about the information you've passed to your audience. So those are the reasons why it's important for you to ask questions. Always ask questions whenever you don't understand something. Creative thinking is the ability to come up with new ideas, often by looking at problems from different perspectives and using imagination to find unique solutions. It is a valuable soft skill in many areas, from problem solving and innovation to art and writing. Developing creative thinking involves brainstorming in a wide range of ideas. You see, when you begin to learn, brainstorm to help you gather more information about a particular topic, this enhance your creative thinking ability, because the more information you have, the better for you. If you have a lot of information about that topic, you'll be able to continue to talk about that topic conveniently and freely because you have too many information to share. And these same principles apply to creative thinking. When you start learning about a topic, brainstorm about that topic, make research about that topic, you will become flexible with that topic because you have so many information. So you can pick from different source that you've learned and you've understand and blend them together to form something new out of something that exists. Why? Because you're constantly making research, seeing how that thing is being done in different places. You see, when you come to a particular country, the way things are being done there is most likely to be different from the way things are being done in another country. If you visit somewhere else, you will see that thing being done in another way. When you start to expand your knowledge, you start to expose yourself throw yourself to learning, then you start seeing things differently. So by the time you come back and you need to work on that same subject, you will be able to bring some of the informations you've learned in different places that you know this work, then you can blend them together to help you do whatever it is you want to do, but this time around in a creative way. The creativity comes from your knowledge, it comes from the exposure you have, it comes from the people you've met, the places you've been to, and also probably the books you've learned, the courses you've attended. So learning plays an important part when it comes to creative thinking. In fact, when it comes to communication as a whole, at times we engage in communication and forget our lines. This is because we don't have adequate information about that topic. When we have adequate information, normally as human, chances are we might forget our line. But having a lot of information means you can pick from anywhere. You have so many information, you are saying something you forgot, you can say something else because you're talking about a particular topic, a particular subject, and you have so many information. Your audience does not know the sequence in which you've arranged the words you're saying. They only have an idea of the points you are about to make. Probably you've told them at the beginning of your presentation to expect A, B, and C. But within each topic, they don't know the sequence which you've arranged your word. So if you forgot something, you can pick something else, blend together, and your audience will never know that you forgot what you were saying earlier because they couldn't even see what is inside of you. But your own goal is to make sure that whatever happens in your communication, you were able to blend with your audience without letting your audience know that you even forgot your line. And that's exactly the most important thing. So creative thinking also has to do with learning, gathering information. The more information you have about a topic, the better this will enhance your creative thinking and your communication skills at large. Conflict resolving. This is the process of finding a peaceful solution to a disagreement between individuals or groups. It involves using the skills like negotiation and problem solving to understand different perspectives and reach a mutual acceptable agreement. The goal is to address the dispute constructively, manage emotions, and preserve relationships. The process usually involves listening to both parties to understand the cause of the conflict, then try to position yourself in each other's shoe to see the issue from each other's perspective. Once you understand the reason, the source of a problem, then finding solution to that problem becomes easy. And the key component to help you do this effectively includes active listening. You need to listen, and while listening, pay attention to verbal clue and non-verbal clue. This will help you have a better understanding of the situation. Then you can provide a solution that will resonate with both parties, so both parties can agree to your solution. So let's talk about presentation skills and public speaking skills. This involves the practice of passing information to a large number of people, and the goal varies. It could be to encourage them to do business with you, to pass an information to them, or to entertain them. Whatever the goal might be, there are basic principles that can do this effectively. The first is for you to practice, to research about your topic. Always talk about the topic you know and have a lot of information about. This will enhance your speaking ability. This will build your confidence because you have something to say. So this will reduce your stress or nervousness. Chances are at the beginning of the presentation you might be nervous, but because you have information to share, by the time you keep talking, automatically the nervousness will fizzle away. But if you don't have much information to say, right, this could possibly lead to fear and intimidation and worry because you don't have much information to say. So the first thing is for you to research thoroughly about your topic and research about your audience as well. Know the people you're delivering your lines to so you can know how to talk to them in a tone that will align with their personality. Communication is about connection, and this could be emotional. Emotional has to do with your overall body expression, your use of word, and the way you present yourself to your audience. So make yourself likable. Making yourself likable has to do with you detaching yourself from your problem. Everybody have one thing or the other bothering them. When you carry this around, it reflects in everything you do, not only in public speaking activity, but in business, in every other thing. So detach yourself from your problem. When you go out, be the happy person. And you see, when you detach yourself from your problem and you try to act as if they don't exist, chances are you start finding solutions to many of those problems. So don't let what you're building damage what you have built. There are so many things that are giving you joy. So don't let the one that is not set damage the one that is set. So when it comes to speaking activities, detach yourself from your problem, make research about your topic, and walk on the stage to entertain yourself. When you're presenting and you're having fun in the process, chances are your audience will have fun as well. If you're presenting, you're not having fun, it will reflect in your body expression and your audience will not be able to connect with you. Keep an eye contact. Eye contact is a sign of strength. If you're presenting and you're looking away, you're looking around for too long, looking at the ground, you're telling your audience that you're not confident, you're not sure, you're scared, or you're hiding something. But when you start to look your audience highball to highball, this means that you are bold, you're confident, you're happy to be presenting that speech and you have nothing to hide. So always try to keep an eye contact whenever you're talking to people. This could be one-on-one and this could be to a group of people. You're trying to study your audience in the process. You're trying to read them. As much as they are paying attention to your own verbal and non-verbal clue, you can also pay. In fact, it is mandatory for you to also pay attention to their own verbal and non-verbal clue as well, to help you have an idea on how they are responding to your presentation. If you look away too much, you don't even know if your audience are finding your presentation impactful. But when you start looking at them highball to highball, you can have an idea of what is running in their mind through their body expression. If they are finding it interesting, you will know because they will pay attention. Some might have a smile on their face. You will see some gesture that will give you confidence that yes, you're actually communicating. And if you feel they are not really key into your communication, then good. This will help you adjust your body expression, adjust your tone of voice so that they can key into your communication. You can ask your audience questions to help them become part of your communication. That is why in speaking activity, you see the speaker asking the audience questions. Do you understand? Should I proceed? Are you part of us? Do you so you can ask questions to talk to your audience, relate with your audience, and let them respond to you. Get feedback from them as you're running your presentation. So always ask your audience questions to bring them into your communication. So that is also another important part that can help you express yourself freely and confidently. Remember, it's about expression, and your goal is to help your audience understand. So understanding is the key word here. So be positive, make your research, go on the stage, be happy with yourself, and deliver your lines. And I tell you, these are the basic principles or practices that can help you deliver an effective public speaking or a presentation. Storytelling is the act of telling your audience an information about an event that probably happens to you or somebody else. This helps your audience memorize and understand your presentation or your public speaking activity. Research shows that human beings by nature tend to remember story more than points and every other thing. And the reason is because we get along with story. Whenever anybody is telling us a story, we want to continue listening to that story because we want to know where the story will end, especially if it's an interesting story. And what makes this important in communication is because you can tell stories to use your point memorable to your audience or to gain your audience attention. You can start a presentation or a public speaking activity with a story, especially when your story have a hook. For example, during your public speaking activity or presentation, you've picked a story you want to talk about. You can use a hook like this. The day an audience gave me $10 million. without me even lifting a finger to do a thing for him. That is a hook, and your audience is most likely to pay attention because they want to know exactly what happened to make a stranger give you $10,000 without you doing anything. So your hook is the part of the story that is most likely to attract your audience into wanting to listen to the story to the end. And when you use storytelling in your presentation, you will be able to pass that message in a way that your audience will understand better, especially because of the story that's involved. So whenever you're using storytelling, make sure to tell a story that is interesting or that is scary or that could possibly lead to surprise. Just make sure that your story has an element that can connect with your audience emotionally, because that is the major goal of using storytelling. Team collaboration. This involves the activity of uniting your team to work collectively towards achieving a certain goal. To help you unite your team towards achieving a goal, then you need to lead by example. Be supportive to your team, be friendly to your team, get closer to them, and know the things they need to help them discharge their duties accordingly and effectively, and make it available to them. Communicate to them about the goal of that activity and its important, the benefits. Bring them into part of the activity. Let them understand that, okay, if we are able to get this done right, this is what the company starts to gain. You see, when it comes to team collaborating, one of the key practice involve giving your team adequate benefits from the reward of the effort. You see, we human beings naturally get attracted to money benefits. When you tell me that I stand to benefit this amount of money, and this could even be additional income for doing my job, chances are I will put in my best to do that job effectively and accurately because of the money benefit that is attached to it. No matter how much you try to help someone understand why he needs to do his job effectively, if he does not know what he stands to gain in that process, chances are he might not really find it interesting enough to go the extra mile. So communication will work very well when you put the interest of your team members as hand. Then by the time you start communicating to them, they begin to listen and find meaning in the words that you're saying. This will encourage them to take actions towards your desired goal. Another key important element when it comes to key collaboration include making sure that you're working with team who are passionate within the activity they've engaged themselves. Some people apply for position just to earn a living. They don't have any interest or passion in that job or the position they've come to apply for. They just want to make money and pay their bills. That is all. People like that might not really be a good team member because they are not connected to that activity in any way. But make sure you're working with people whose purpose align with the position they've come to apply for or the job you're telling them to do. When you're working with people like that, because they are connected with that job, naturally their performance will outsmart that of a person who is not connected to that job. So having people who are connected to the job help you get better results, and whatever resources you're making available, naturally they will become inventive, they will become creative towards that activity. And when you back your efforts with monetary reward, then you are most likely to get the best from set of people like that. So one of the key requirements when it comes to team collaboration is making sure that you're working with people whose life purpose aligns with that activity. Those are the group of people that will help you get the best results with little resources, and also they will do it within the shortest period of time. Let's talk about professional confidence. This is the belief in your ability to succeed in any settings you find yourself, including career, relationships, and marriage. This is built on a resilient self-assessment of your skills and a willingness to continuously improve them. Professional confidence is your ability to believe in yourself, to believe in your ability to succeed within wherever settings you find yourself. This could be in career, in business, among friends, and in marriage. Believing that you will succeed. This involves recognizing your strengths, stepping out of your comfort zone, seeking feedback, and learning from both successes and failure. Building confidence is an ongoing process that leads to greater job performance, more opportunity, and a positive professional image. And some of the activities that can help you gain professional confidence involve you improving within your professional, improve yourself, learn, get better, and deliver better. When you deliver better, you start to gain confidence, and also pay attention to your personal grooming. Pay a huge attention to how you feel about yourself and towards other people. You see, we all know that there are times when we are well dressed and stepped out, we used to feel that our confidence naturally increase. So these are the things you need to be doing to help you become professionally confident.